History books are cool, but what if you could live it? Not just following a script, actually forge your own medieval chronicle. At Raw Power Games, we're not just making another medieval sandbox. We're creating something deeper, something unpredictable, and most importantly, yours. In this video, we'll give you a closer look into what we're cooking. From systems to swords, castles to communities. This is Chronicles Medieval.
When I think about the tone of the game, of course we wanted to highlight brutal and rough nature of medieval life and warfare, but we also wanted to not shy away from the visual variety involved in the world. So a variety of colors and styles, quite a vivid world that these people inhabited. Modern media tends to kind of fixate a lot on the dull and grey kind of aspects, but I think medieval life was actually quite colorful.
We would like to create a world that can spark curiosity. So we decided to add enigmatic layers on the settlement, which hopefully can intrigue the players and motivate them to explore the whole world. Chronicle Medieval is kind of like my dream project. I feel super lucky to be able to work with a team who is so talented and experienced and also love medieval history and games like me. I am sure that when the game is finally finished, I myself will spend hundreds of hours playing that.
A great deal of research went into Chronicles Medieval, and I really think what put together the believability of the history was all of the kind of little nuances of characters. So how armor is forged, how it's put together. For clothing and fashion, it would be how things are hemmed and kind of seam patterns, and the concept team put a lot of research into fashion and how that evolved over the time period we're focusing on. One of the most exciting parts was kind of seeing our characters come to life so that then they can start killing each other.
To make the combat feel authentic is challenging, but we have sources, and when we understand the concepts behind all the historical martial arts, then we can have at least a really nice and historical accurate visuality.
Imagination has been my best friend as a combat designer, but here, that's not the case. We have to think about, is it believable? And if it's a yes, we have a solid answer. If it's a no, another round of iterations. Realism doesn't mean it's not fun. While realism is really important for a game, we're not making a simulator, for sure. That means that we do get the freedom to design, let's say, artificial systems to make it even better. We heavily rely on Bjorn's mocapping to add realism.
And everything is nice and enjoyable for the player, also plausible enough for all the historians.
What we're aiming for is to make you feel the brutality, the urgency, and the weight of your decisions. It's a game about killing someone, right? Any combat situation, whether you are in a battlefield or in a duel, you're trying to kill someone or disable someone right now. So we want you to remember that you are not a hero here. You don't have magical abilities that can slaughter multiple people and just change the tide of battle. You are a human being. You are fighting against another human being who's trying to kill you, and you are trying to survive and kill the opponent or multiple opponents around you. So it all boils down to making the right choices in a short amount of time. To every single choice you make could either reward you or punish you.
Do you have the right armor with you, the right weapons? So all the decisions you make, the preparation, and also within the battle. When you're on a duel, also everything counts. Every single attack, every single block will keep you alive or will kill you.
If you were to ask me what I like the most about being an engineer working on Chronicles Medieval, it would be that we very early on made a decision to make all the systems that make up the gameplay and the decision-making systems be part of one whole framework. Today that allows us to be very reasonable about how we approach performance issues, but also how we approach gameplay's interconnectivity. Because the gameplay interconnectivity is really what drives the game and makes it very dynamic for players when they play it.
Chronicles Medieval is a hugely ambitious game. There's a lot of stuff that the player can interact with. Big character gallery of NPCs make meaningful decisions. Our battles are truly grand. So we put the battles into 3 layers. Combat layer, fighting one-on-one. Captain layer, where you command units in your immediate vicinity. Kind of the Braveheart fantasy that we're trying to get to here. And then we have the tactical layer, We call it the General's Layer, something that the player will engage with during the pre-battle planning phase. In Chronicles, we really want the player to be able to express himself and do whatever they feel like.
If you want to be someone, if you want to chase something, you could. And we want to, as developers, give you the opportunity to do so. So after you create the character that you want to play as, you're being welcomed into an exploration map that covers a big part of medieval Europe, where you are welcome to freely roam and do essentially what you want. You can go and visit settlements, you can go and visit castles, you can attack caravans, you can chase bandits, you can perform quests. You can also hire companions and have some adventures with them. You can participate in small or big battles. We take you from the top-down view of exploration map and throw you into TPP, where you can feel and see your character and actually be a participant of all the events that are there. So it also feels more immersive, and you can see and experience the amazing world that our artists also built. The part of you being there is an important pillar of what we try to achieve.
Less management, more immersion.
There are multiple different systems that allow players to shape their journey and to also shape the world around them. We also have the entire economy that basically runs underneath the hood and drives all of the economic and trade situation in the world that you as a player can also influence. We are really trying to experiment with these systems to create more of a dynamic and real world.
Chronicles Medieval is a game full of opportunities, and we can't wait to see what you'll do with it. History has already been written, but this time you're holding the pen. Wishlist Chronicles Medieval now on Steam, sign up for our newsletter, and come join our community. Because trust me, we're just getting started.